Hey, my name is Jason from the Office of Academic Technology at Spring Arbor University, and we are in a series of video tutorials and screencasts actually in this tutorial on how we get content from a classroom setting and media capture to iTunes U. So in the first tutorial we've given you an inventory of what we use, the tools that we use. The second tutorial we showed you how we connect all of those assets and brought them together so that you could use them in recording in a classroom setting. And in this video tutorial we're going to show you how we actually get the content off of the camera and into iTunes U. We're going to give you two different instances in this tutorial. One, how we can record content directly to QuickTime Pro and upload, and two, how we could record directly to Podcast Capture and upload to iTunes U. So the first thing, in the classroom setting, if we don't use tape, which in a lot of settings, most settings we do right now, is we will use tape, mini DV tape, and we'll bring it back into post-production studios, and we'll use either iMovie or Final Cut Pro to import the video footage, make our own titles, and then we'll do an export. So that's kind of how we roll with using tape. Then we'll export as M4V and upload to iTunes U a variety of different ways. In this video tutorial we're going to show you how we do direct from the camera to the computer. So we use that in our Canon ZR-800 through FireWire. So we'll connect a FireWire cable to the camera, and then on the other side we'll connect it to our MacBook. The other thing you got to remember is once you connect the camera to the MacBook, make sure that the camera's on, and then you're going to change some preferences in QuickTime to make sure that QuickTime knows that you want to use your external camera source, not your built-in iSight camera. So I'm going to go to QuickTime Player. You got to make sure that you have QuickTime Pro installed on the Mac. It doesn't work on the PC. Another reason to love the Mac. And I'm going to go to Preferences and Recording Preferences, and I'm going to switch from a video source built in iSight to the ZR-800. And the microphone, I'm also going to use the ZR-800 because I want the external audio source coming from my Audio-Technica wireless mic setup. So I've got my preferences set, and now what I can do is I can ask for a new movie recording. And this is actually going to use the camera, which we just kind of have set up in a boring classroom. But that's our camera setup. And in this context, because we have our audio coming in and we have our video coming in to QuickTime, we can simply just hit record using QuickTime Pro, and QuickTime will record the entire media capture. We can start, we can stop, you can record as many times as we want. For maybe a speech class that you have 3 to 5 minute speeches, you can record multiple speeches, and when you're finished just press stop, and then you have your video. Real boring. Once the video is captured, you can give it a title, you can bring it into iTunes, put in some metadata, however you want to, but we want to skip over that. You already know how to do those kinds of things. And we want to be able to connect our network cable, make sure that you're hardwired in network-wise. Podcast Capture likes it when we're networked. And using the Podcast Capture, we're going to upload this file so we can record audio, screencasts, that kind of thing. I'm just going to simply upload the file. I'm going to browse to my desktop, choose the movie, give it a title and description, and then I'm going to select which class I want it to go, Speech 100, click Done, and my podcast will be submitted. So that's how we would record from QuickTime using the camera as our camera source, feeding it right into QuickTime Pro, recording it with QuickTime, and then uploading it to Podcast Capture. Second way that we can use it is actually using Podcast Capture to record the classroom. Now, we would simply log into Podcast Capture, select video, and I want to use the ZR-800 as a video source. Now, the unfortunate part for this whole thing is that we're experiencing trouble with Podcast Capture right now, unreliably giving us a preview screen. But if I record, I've got a blank screen, but what we found in testing is that this video that we're making right now actually uploads true to podcast capture and through Leopard Server and into iTunes U. We just can't see the preview. That's a little bit frustrating right now as we're kind of working out the kinks. So we can finish our recording, click publish, again, title, description, metadata, up into iTunes U. So what have we learned so far about uploading media into iTunes U? It's a very unreliable service, iTunes U. We use a couple of different tools to upload content, regardless of if we use iMovie, Final Cut Pro, Podcast Capture, or QuickTime Pro. The uploading process for video is very unreliable. We have used some great tools. Rich Wolf from University of Illinois Chicago has created Woolloomooloo and continued to upgrade and update it over the years. A great tool that we've used to upload media content. Great for audio files for us. Video files, anything really over 100 megs will fail quite often. The second thing we have begun to use with a little bit more success is we've begun to use Automator. Rich and his team, or Rich in his awesomeness, put together a bunch of Automator actions, and so we downloaded those and we use those quite a bit for smaller video files for, say for instance, speech classes where there's a ton of 5-minute speeches and they're 50 megs, that kind of thing. So we've used Automator with a little bit more success, but again, any video file that's over 200 megs, we're getting about a 50%, maybe probably a 25% success rate of getting those videos up. Then with Podcast Capture, we thought we'd kind of had the end-to-end solution. It still hasn't worked for us. It does process the videos, but when we look at server logs, it gives us a failure at the iTunes U portion of actually uploading and completing the upload to iTunes U. So we use these different tools. Woolloomooloo, we've used the web interface, we've used Podcast Capture, Podcast Producer. We've also used the web interface, the Ruby web interface, with the same amount of success, and we've used Automator. None of them give us 100% or even 80% success rate on uploading rich media content. But these are the workflows that we're using. So what workflows are you using? Are you getting a greater success rate with a higher level of a size of video? We would love to get the silver bullet of this working. So feel free to post comments on our website, arbor.edu/OAT or academictechnology.org. Let's get the conversation rolling. Let's push where we need to push so that we can make it easy for faculty and students to get rich media content to increase student outcomes. So check out the websites, post comments, and let us know what you're doing to help take your teachers a little bit further.